Hello. A life update, also a health update, which I guess is part of life. One, the color seems to be better when the light is just behind me, so it's gonna look like a weird medieval halo with the fan right behind me, but I'm doing it on purpose and I'm probably gonna drift, but hopefully this is short enough that I will not. Um, Number one, Lori and I adopted two dogs this week. So I will show you the two dogs. Um, I'm in my room right now, and that's where the dogs sleep. The little ones are in diapers because they've gotten in this habit where one time Sophie peed in my bathroom um, because she was upstairs taking a nap with me, and I think I've talked about this drug before that I was on. Anyway, it like makes me like a freaking zombie, and I hate it. Anyway, I was on it. I took like a 7 hour nap, like an insanely long nap. And so she was like, "Woman, I need to pee." So she peed in my bathroom. And so when Daisy came to the house for the first time, she was like, "Great, I'm gonna pee over this." And then Sophie's like, "I'm gonna pee over Daisy's pee." And now it's like this vicious cycle of dog over pees. So to prevent that from happening and to break the cycle, I have them in doggy diapers. And so the dogs look absurd. But anyway, we have adopted Daisy and Max. I say adopted. Technically, what we did was forever foster. And we being Lori and I, adopted them from the same place that we got Buttercup and Princess, which is Old Friends Senior Dog Sanctuary in Mount Juliet. It's a dog sanctuary just for senior dogs. So the reason it's forever fostering is because they keep legal ownership of the dogs. That way, in case anything happens, they take the dogs back and they continue to pay for the dogs, veterinary care, like both our old girls and Max are on like prescription food, and so they're going to continue to pay for that. If they have to go to the emergency vet for any reason, they pay for that. It's a pretty sweet deal. And the reason being is that senior dogs, like senior people, far and away have higher health bills more than people. So, and that's the reason they're trying to like lower the barriers for people adopting senior dogs. So, I like senior dogs because puppies are insane because they've got so much energy. I say that Max and Daisy like to bark at every single dog or human that passes by, but we've only had them for 5 days, so I can already see that like there's a downward trend of being like, oh, they're already learning that like these people are not intruders trying to attack our house. Anyway, okay, so let me show you Daisy and Max. So here is Daisy. She is a 16-pound beagle, and there's her diaper. And here's Max. There's Sophie in her coat. It gets up to like 50, 60 in Nashville, but she still insists on wearing it. It got up to 78 one day, and she was like so pissed that we tried to take it off of her. So when it finally gets to be springtime, she's gonna be hella pissed that she's not gonna get her coat anymore. And here is Max. Hi, bud. I'm talking about you. So Max has a bit of a skin condition. He's allergic to something, but we're not sure what, and so he's got some patches that don't have fur, and he's like real skinny. He's a little bit underweight, so he he gets fed 3 times a day until he's back up to his normal weight. And he and Daisy are both 7 years old. They are a bonded pair. Oh wait, let me go back to my halo. There we go. They're a bonded pair. They're both 7. Their previous owner passed away, and the family wasn't able to take care of them. So that's how they ended up with Old Friends. Yeah. So we wanted younger dogs just because, if you remember, we had Princess a single day less than her gotcha 1 year of a gotcha, whatever, 364 days. And we had Buttercup 2 years and like 2 months. So we were like, you know what? We really want dogs that are like not gonna, die like a year or two after we get them. Also, it would be nice to have dogs that are like healthier, because both Princess had IBS and Buttercup had arthritis, and she really struggled at the end. So, she had like 3 different supplements that she was on, and yet it was bad. So Max has a lot of stuff, and we have to do a lot of medicated baths for him while he's like regrowing hair and stuff. Yeah. Daisy is a little mountain goat. We have learned that she already likes climbing on the backs of the sofas. She's definitely a beagle. Like, she bays like a beagle. Lori had a beagle growing up. I have never owned any hound dogs. I guess like Buttercup was like half part hound dog, but like Buttercup was like mostly basically a marshmallow. Like, I don't know if we can really call her a hound dog. So anyway, that's what's up with me and my doggies. Also, I went to Florida last week with the girls. We were originally supposed to go on this trip in 2020, but 1, I had a stroke, and 2, COVID. So with those things combined, the trip got canceled. So we decided to take the trip this year. Anyway, it was really nice just to like be in the warmth and wear shorts and sandals and like see the sun. Also, I like super felt like a teenager again because 1, it was spring break. 2, we like did it on the cheap, and so we just like stayed at Heather's parents' house and like went to the grocery store and ate like PB&J, which was awesome because we are going on like a big vacay in October. So this was just kind of like a mini vacay. This wasn't like supposed to be like a bad and bougie vacay. But anyway, so yeah, it was. Wait, was that? Yeah. So we got back. Is it? Yeah, like literally a week ago, like almost to the minute. Okay, health stuff. So on March 17th, 2020, I got a shunt placed in. It's a ventroperitoneal shunt. Basically, it is just a giant straw that goes from my head. Like, I'm touching it right now. Beep, 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 beep. Do you see this like weird, like it looks kind of like a vein? That's the shunt. It goes all the way down to my stomach. I could show you the scar, but I'm afraid that I would actually accidentally flash you because I'm all ready for bed, so I'm not wearing proper undergarments for that. Anyway, so is it? Yeah, it's flashing. I always get flashing and mooning mixed up, which I guess is a good thing because, like, what does it say about you as a person if you like use those terms regularly enough that like you distinctly know what they are? Anyway, so got it in 2020. The reason for it is because I have hydrocephalus. What that is technically like it's Latin for water on the brain. What that means is because of the scar tissue around where I had my blood clot removed, my body isn't able to drain the spinal fluid in my cranium anymore. So there's like a build up here, and it's all a bunch of pressure, and it gives me a headache. And like other things, like if I didn't take care of it, I could like have a seizure and die, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't that be ironic if I survived a stroke just to die of seizure from hydrocephalus? I mean, like, I guess it's sort of related, so it's not like incredibly ironic, but it feels a little bit ironic. Anyway, so got the shunt placed in. And my neurosurgeon did it. He is the same one that did the blood clot removal. So that was on St. Patrick's Day 2020. It was also the same day that hospitals stopped doing elective surgery because of COVID. So my mom was able to be there for the first part, and then like they were like, all right, guess gotta get out. You gotta leave. And she was so pissed about it. But my dad, because he's a doctor, had like special doctor credentials, so he got to like come check on me. So got the shunt placed. The reason I'm talking about it now is because 1, it's been 2 years. 2, there are 8 pressure settings that you can do, and that like basically that just changes how much it like sucks. The straw sucks. So what it does is it sucks the spinal fluid out. It goes all the way down the straw. And peritoneal means like outside the stomach. So ventro is, I don't actually know what that means. Isn't that terrible? I have about like, I don't want to like stroke my ego by assuming that, but there is at least someone watching this video right now that's yelling right now that they know what ventro means. I apologize. I do not know what that means. But peritoneal is like outside the stomach, which is where the straw ends up. So it just dumps outside the stomach and then it absorbs back into the body. So, my friend Heather is a pediatric nurse. And so she says sometimes little kids get VP shunts and they worry that when the kids grow, that the shunt can get wrapped around their intestines. So I don't have to worry about that because I am done growing, which is nice. But one thing I do have to worry about is the shunt pressure setting. So the shunt pressure setting changes how fast the straw sucks. In 2020, we did like a couple different settings. So the setting they started me out on wasn't the right one. I was still like dizzy. It's kind of hard to explain. Like it just it honestly felt a little bit like being drunk. Just like unsteady, kind of like on a boat. I guess that's a better analogy than being drunk. But that's sort of like unsteady feeling. So they changed me a couple of times, eventually found out my setting. So about like 6 weeks ago, it was actually I can tell you what day it was. It was Super Bowl Sunday. I started having this headache. And I have a daily headache every day, just because that's my life now. So I take ibuprofen and Tylenol every morning and night. And this headache like was different than my normal headache because that wasn't taking care of it. And so I've learned that if that doesn't take care of it, then my next step is to take a decongestant and antihistamine. Like maybe it's sinus related. And usually that works. I've always just had crappy sinuses, so and that didn't work either. So, and antihistamine is just Benadryl. Which I don't love taking Benadryl because Benadryl knocks me the F out, which is what I did on Super Bowl Sunday, and I did fall asleep during the game. So if anyone was there during the Otter Creek young adult watch party and remembers me sleeping on the couch, that's why. Benadryl. Um, anyway, so like all the normal things you do when you have a headache, like I did all of it. So like I tried sleeping it off, drinking lots of water, watching what I ate, seeing if it got better or worse throughout the day, if it got worse when I leaned over, if it was triggered by anything, smells. Um, anyway, couldn't figure it out. So around the 1 week mark, I called to set up an appointment with my neurologist, who is different than my neurosurgeon. I have both. And I did see my neurologist. There was a cancellation. Normally, it takes like 2 months to see my neurologist, which is why I don't see my neurologist very often. Because who can wait 2 freaking months to go see your neurologist? Like, usually, if I have a question, it's somewhat more pressing than like 2 months. Can you hear Daisy snoring? No idea if I'm showing it. Anyway. But there was a cancellation, so they were able to fit me in like 4 days later. It was at 7:30 in the morning. So like, do I love going to downtown Nashville at 7:30 in the morning? No, I do not. Anyway, he put me on this drug. Have I ranted to you all about this drug? I freaking hate this drug. He put me on the migraine medicine. Fun fact, my headache was not a migraine. And so this drug is called Topamax. I had basically like all the side effects, and it didn't help my headache at all, but like it caused brain fog. I got like finger and toe tingles, you know, like when you like lose your like legs or arms fall asleep and like you start getting feeling back. Yeah, that's what it felt like all the time. The first day I took it, I slept until 4:30 in the afternoon. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And like I felt like I could have slept another 3 or 4 hours. Anyway, I absolutely hated it. It changed the taste of food. So I just now. So anyway, didn't help at all when I got my headache. Spoiler alert, got my headache fixed by something totally different. So called my neurologist. He didn't call me back. So Google gave me an answer to how to taper off this medicine because I didn't want to go cold turkey and oh, I said the G word. And now my phone thinks that I'm trying to talk to it. Because I don't have an iPhone. I have a Android. So anyway, freaking hated this drug. Tapered off. My very last pill was night before last, so it should be out of my system and the brain fog should be gone. Praise the effing Lord. Cannot express to you how much I hated taking this drug. He also scheduled me for an MRI, and they finally fit me in for the MRI. Like, I want to say it was like day 25 of my headache. And like, so the headaches, so the headaches definitely like got worse over the 25 days. It ultimately ended up being 30 days. So they got worse over the 30 days and they would get worse throughout the day. So in the morning, they were like tolerable. By like the end of the day, it was like, put me out of my freaking misery. This is the worst pain I've ever been in. Just kidding. I think having a stroke was probably the worst pain I've ever been in. Most of the time, it wasn't like super crazy pain. It was just like a buzz in your ear kind of annoyance, where it's like, if I focus really hard, I can concentrate, but like I just have to, it's something I have to tune out. So like moms that or parents that have to work at home, like, if you have to ignore kids, probably it's the same sort of thing where it's like, it's just, it increases your level of difficulty, right? So that was what I was having to deal with. So anyway, get to the MRI. They have me put on the stupid gown. I'm like about to walk back, and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way, our policy is that if you have a VP shunt, you have to have an appointment with your neurosurgeon within 24 hours to make sure that the MRI doesn't change your setting. Do you have that appointment with your neurosurgeon?" And I was like, "Well, no, because my neurologist was the one that set up this MRI. I haven't talked to my neurosurgeon in like over a year." And they were like, "Oh, okay, well, will you call your neurosurgeon, please?" And so I did. And they were like, "Okay, well, our next appointment's in 2 weeks." And I was like, "Great." Anyway, so I was like, "I guess I'll take that appointment." So I set up my MRI for 2 weeks, my neurosurgeon appointment for 2 weeks, went out in the parking lot and freaking cried because I was like, "Okay, well, I've had this headache for 25 days and I'm about to have this headache for 14 more days. Like, this is the worst news of my life." And so, like I previously mentioned, my dad is a doctor and he works with the neurosurgeon. And so, like, it's very stupid to me, and like I really don't like playing the like special treatment card. But I was like, my other option is to like have a headache for 2 weeks. And so like my mom and dad were the ones that I like literally cried in the parking lot to. And so dad called the neurosurgeon and was like, "Look, she doesn't actually need a full appointment. She just needs like you to like put the thing up to her head and be like, nope, the MRI didn't change the didn't change the pressure setting. Okay, bye." Anyway, and so they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine." And like I should also point out that like the office and the MRI, which is like in Centennial, are like a 2-minute drive away from each other. They're on 23rd and 24th, or 22nd and 24th Street. They're like so close to each other. Anyway, whatever. So I got the MRI rescheduled for like 4 days later. It was a Thursday and they rescheduled me for Monday. Well, hello, Nugget. Did you wake up for a second? Okay. Sorry, this is turning into a very long video. This happens every single time, I feel like. I'm sorry. Whatever. Did the MRI. If you've ever gotten an MRI before, up your head, it's the freaking worst because you can't listen to music. I've gotten an MRI of my back before too. That's much better because you can't listen to music. But the MRI of your head, they like give you earplugs, so it's not like, because it is yelling at you, but the yelling is muffled. But it's like it's truly terrible. And then like the pattern will get like a remix. Beep beep beep. Burp burp burp. Beep beep beep. Burp burp burp. It's terrible. So it's like 40 minutes of that. And then you're like trying not to move. You can't move because they've like got so many like cushions around your head. So got done with that, went over to the neurosurgeon, and they were like, "Oh, hey, we already got your results. They've already been uploaded." And I was like, "From my MRI? Are you like that I literally just came from? Okay." And they were like, "Yeah, turns out your shunt is over draining, so you just want us to change the pressure setting on your shunt." And I was like, "You're telling me I've had a headache for 30 days now because my shunt is on the wrong setting? But we changed that like 2 years ago and it's been fine." And they're like, "I don't know what to tell you." And I was like, "Okay." Anyway, so they changed the shunt and they were like, "Yeah, your setting." And so they were like, "Well, it should be better within like 2 weeks." It was better within a day. So like the headache was probably like at half force that day and totally gone the next day. Isn't that insane? Science, man. Anyway, so I still have like spells where I don't know if I'm like kind of like headachy or dizzy or whatever, but it's like I don't know if that's just like the pressure is regulating or I don't know what's happening. Which is kind of the story of my life since 2020 with my body. I don't know what's happening. It is a mystery to me. Anyway, so that's what's up with my shunt. Happy birthday, belated birthday to my shunt. Oh, and if you're wondering, yes, that shunt is going to stay in me the whole time. So, when like explorers come in 10,000 years and dig up my corpse, they'll find my shunt. Just kidding. I think I want to be cremated. I don't know. I've never really thought about this. But it feels weird to be buried. Is there even going to be space for me to be buried? Or is like all the land going to be gone? In like the ghetto in like some European countries, when they would only give like Jews like teeny tiny plots of land, they had to like bury people like 7 people deep because they didn't have anywhere else to bury people. So maybe I'm going to be buried on top of somebody else. Things to think about. Where are you going to be buried? Are you going to be buried? Are you going to be cremated? Now they do a thing. You can donate your body to a body farm. You can like have your body be plant food and like become a tree. There are lots of options. You can be cryogenically frozen. I don't know if anybody has the money for that. Maybe if I tag my dad, some of his doctor friends may watch this. Y'all probably have the money to be cryogenically frozen. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up before we hit the 30-minute mark. You're welcome.